don't look down on these women that are out there doing what they have to do. There's going to be a price to pay. And the question is it worth it? Hello beauties, and welcome to Gems and Pearls with Love. To all who are new here, welcome. My name is Caitlin Clarice. So guys, we made it to 500 subscribers. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all for your support on this channel, your likes, your comments, your shares, and for subscribing. Thank you guys. And as promised, I will be doing a giveaway. I'm just in the process of working out some of the details, like a date, and also how I'm gonna go about doing that. Should I do a live YouTube video and do it at that time? So yeah, just kind of working out the details, but don't worry, stay tuned. The giveaway is coming. In my previous video, I believe it's called Should Women Be Working or something on those lines, but basically I had a lot more that I wanted to kind of share with you guys and talk about, but I try my best to kind of keep my videos under 20 minutes. I try to anyway, and that video was already going over 20 minutes, so I kind of cut it short. But I figured, why not just go ahead and, you know, make a second video and kind of as a follow-up to that video and sharing some of the things that I didn't get to share. So, a career woman, girl boss, boss babe versus a Proverbs 31 woman. Is there a difference? And if there is a difference, what do I think that difference is? Before I jump too far into the meat of this video, I just want to make sure you guys know that when it comes to titles like girl boss, boss babe, they're honestly just made up terms. Like somebody somewhere just made up this term and started to use it and kind of defined it. I talked about that in my video, The Soft Life, where I was letting you guys know my thoughts on the soft life. Some people don't like the soft life because it has the stigma around it that it's all about, you know, like self-indulgence. It's all about no troubles, no difficulties, no hard work, you know. And basically in that video I was kind of saying that, you know what, the soft girl is just a made-up term and you can make it what you want to make it. Like, it's nothing that's just in some sort of concrete dictionary, at least not right now as of this date. I don't think. It's just a kind of made up term and you can make it what it is. That's not what it is to me. And for me, soft life is more just a kind of a slower life. It's taking time to enjoy things. And yeah, so anyway, I'm not going to go too much into that. If you want to know more about what I think of the soft life, you can go ahead and watch that video. But I just bring all that to say that the soft life is just a term that's made up, and so is boss babe and girl boss. So I am not trying to say that if you call yourself a girl boss or you consider yourself to be a boss babe, that this is what your thoughts are and this is your mentality. That's not what I'm saying. I'm going to be kind of just using these terms just to kind of separate what I'm talking about and to kind of explain things and put things in categories for the sake of this conversation, okay? So, but I still agree with what I said previously, that really these made up terms is exactly what they are. They are just made up terms, okay? All right, so now that we have that disclaimer out the way, what do I believe would be considered a career woman or a girl boss per se? When it comes to a career woman, usually the mindset behind this woman, again, remember, I'm just talking in categories right now, but the typical mindset of a woman that people define as a career woman is someone that she's career driven. Like, that is what drives her. That is what she identifies with. That is, to be honest, even though some may not really admit it so much, but that's kind of what matters more to her. The decisions she makes, what she does, is surrounded around her career. So it's like the career is kind of like the center and everything else kind of on the outside, and she needs to make sure that nothing interferes with that. So a career woman may be somebody that, let's say her husband's like, hey, I want to have a second child or a third child, whatever the case is, and she may be the woman that's like, well, no, because that is going to be a hindrance to my career. Right now, I am booming in my career and I'm climbing up the corporate ladder. So a child would be an interference to that. So yeah, she cares for her family, she loves her family, but at the end of the day, it's still her career first. Like, there's still things that she will not be willing to do. There's things she'll be willing to miss out on for the sake of her career. Now, a Proverbs 31 woman, she is a hardworking lady as well. And remember what I said in the previous video, working doesn't necessarily mean making an income. If you are working in your home, whatever you're doing in there, may not be making an income, but that is still working. So when I'm saying working, I'm talking about like a woman that is working for an income. She worked hard. She was selling things. She was making things with her own two hands to sell, to make an income. But she was doing it as something to bless her family. She was doing it for her family. It wasn't something where like, I am doing it for me. It's all about me. We can see that she rised up early to make sure things are organized. Everything's in place for her household. She did her husband good and not harm all the days of his life. This was a family-oriented woman that was doing what she needed to do to bless her family. What separates the difference between these two types of women, these two categories of women in a sense, is their mindset. What is their mindset? Is it, I am doing what I gotta do because, hey, for example, right now we're in inflation. Groceries are so expensive. Cost of living has gone up. I'm doing what I gotta do because my family needs it. If I do not go out and work, whether it is working in the home as having a business, or if I'm going out to work part-time or full-time somewhere else, if I do not do that, it is my family is going to have lack. There's going to be lack. We're not going to be able to afford to pay the bills. We're not going to be able to afford to put food on the table. So I'm doing what I got to do for my family. I would prefer to be at home. I would prefer to be completely focused and indulged in that Titus 2 woman mandate, right? Just focus on loving my husband, loving my children, and being a homemaker. I would prefer to be at home. So that way, when I rise or when I walk or go to sleep, I can be constantly talking to my children about the Word of God. I prefer to have my presence in the home. But because of our situation, because that is not financially possible for us, I have to go do this for my family. That is completely different than my family can very well afford our bills. We can very well afford what we need. We can very well even afford maybe even more than that. But I need to go do what I need to do. I need to focus on my dreams. I need to focus on making a name for myself. The problem that I have with the career woman, girl boss, boss babe mindset is that in those circles, it seems to be a very common trend of women who devalue their children. Not children that is already they already give birth to, but children in general. So as I said, like in my previous example, they want to hold off on even having children, or they want to only have maybe one child, not for any other reason, but because of their career. Also, I find in that group, there is a lot of disrespect towards their husband, because I got my own, I don't need you, I have my own money, and that kind of attitude that they have, they end up not being very respectful towards their husband. I commonly see them emasculating their husbands, to be honest, in the way they behave, in the way they talk. I find that they are not submissive because they feel that they're all high and mighty. They don't need their husband's income, and unfortunately, that kind of gives them the attitude that they don't need them at all. If we are going to be truly honest, most of the household responsibilities, the household work in terms of cooking, cleaning, it usually falls on the woman. In most cases. Of course, there are some situations that are different, but in most cases. And if not even when it comes to cooking and cleaning, let's take even having a child, for example. Your husband cannot help you when it comes to what you feeling in your body, right? it is you as a woman that is going to be the one to carry this child, that's going to go through all the sickness, all the pain, all of the discomforts. And it's going to be you that's going to have to go through that healing process after that. It's going to be you that is, if you're nursing your child, you're breastfeeding, it's going to be you that's going to be with that child most of the time, because the husband can't really, like, the breast is attached to you. So you're going to be the one that has that responsibility on you. There's honestly, in most cases, it's still going to be fall on the woman. What ultimately happens is she feels that because she is out there making money and working these hours, that the household chores and responsibilities should be split 50-50. But in most cases, it's honestly not. And as I said, not saying all, but in majority of cases, it's honestly not. And sometimes that it's not even because the man is not willing to help. Sometimes, honestly, just because the man's help is not the way that as a woman want it. Like, we usually as women want certain things a certain way, and he might not do it that way. So you just feel that you have to go out and redo things or just do things their way. And it's just basically the weight is still on you as the woman. So instead of this 50-50 thing that you're hoping to have, ultimately you end up being stuck with most of it. So really, there's so much, like, you have double the work now, because now you have the housework and you have your career that you are working toward. If you have husbands that are honestly not living up to your 50-50 standard or expectation, then women tend to get angry and they tend to get resentful, which will eventually cause the marriage to suffer. What about the fact that as women, our cycle is completely different from men? We have typically a 28-day cycle, whereas men have a 1-day cycle, and the whole work life was honestly built to fit men. So we are here now having to go into these spaces and do what men are doing, when we may be in our, let's say, luteal phase, for example, where our energy levels are a lot lower, and we are here struggling and pushing ourselves, which ultimately has consequences even on our bodies. We feel that it's only fair and equality by us going out and working and doing the same job and the same hours as that man is doing, not realizing that man is not there with cramps like you are. There with a migraine, nausea, whatever other things that you're experiencing either before or during your cycle. And even just the low energy levels that you may have. Sometimes you feel great, you feel energized, you feel like you can conquer the world. And at other times your energy is just lower and you don't even know, you're not even aware of the fact that that is because of your cycle as a woman. So even if you don't have children, there are still things that as women that will affect us, that makes it hard sometimes to be going out there and doing these jobs and having these careers. Again, if we are going to be truly honest with ourselves, I don't mean to sound harsh, but a woman that is working full time, like 5 days a week, 8 to 9 hours, etc., you are not going to be able to do everything to the same capacity and the same level as a homemaker who is at home full time. I'm sorry, you can argue with me from kingdom come. Like, it's just not possible. Not unless you are literally going to stay up all night, every night, and do that. Like, it's just not possible. Am I saying that you cannot keep your house clean and taken care of? No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about to the same capacity. I'm talking about even just your presence. The world seems to underestimate how much children truly need the presence of their mother at home. Even if it's just you and your husband, how much even he could appreciate and be blessed by your presence at home. People want to say women can have it all, they can do all. Oh, I'm sure they can do a whole lot, but there's going to be a cost. There's going to be things that are going to have to be sacrificed. There's going to be a price to pay. And the question is it worth it? Before you come at me, I know that there are women who are in situations that do not have the choice. They have to be out there full-time working or part-time working, but have to come home and still take care of the household and still try their best to fill in those spaces that they now have to do in order to make sure that their children are trying to best to rear them up and train them up, and they have to do that. To the women who are out there, they have to be in those full-time jobs. They have to be away from the home as long as they don't necessarily want to. It's not what they would prefer to do. If their husband's income maybe was enough, or just something that they could have did that could have caused them to be at home, if an opportunity were to come up where they realized that they could be at home, they would jump at that, because to them it's not about trying to climb no corporate ladder. To them it's not about trying to make a name for themselves. To them it's just their well-being of their family. So to those women who they're just doing what they gotta do and this is what they have to do, or maybe just because simply their husband wants them to do it and they're in submission to their husband, but yes, so you're there doing your best. You're there, using the weekends, using the evening, using whatever time that's available to you to make sure your house is taken care of, to try your best to be on top of things as much as you possibly can. You are still respectful and honorable to your husband. You see him as the head and you respect him as such, even if you're making your income. You don't look at it as your money. So to those women, hats off to you. Honestly, I have full respect for you guys. That is hard. You are doing, I don't want to say you're doing what I'm doing plus more, because again, I do not believe that, if you're out working full time, you can do everything to the full extent and capacity that a homemaker is doing, but you are doing all that you can for your household. And I respect that. And I cheer you on for that, because you're in a position where you have to, and you have that right mindset. Your heart posture is correct. I pray for all of you that God will continue to strengthen you to do what you have to do. I pray that all of you, that everything you put your hands to and everything you do will be blessed. And I pray that things will change, that there will be an opportunity that will come up that will cause you to be able to be at home more, whether that's you working part-time instead, or whether that's you being able to be at home and be able to have a successful business where you can run from home and have your children with you, and or just be able to be in that environment where you can, instead of you having to wake up at that certain time and clock in, even though you feel absolutely horrible, you can slow down. You can just slow down, be able to have that slower, softer life. I pray that you'll be able to have that, because that is probably what you desire to do. And I think that it is wrong for somebody who is a homemaker, full-time homemaker, that's what they do. They stay at home and their work is in the home, to judge you for that, to criticize you, or to make you feel guilty for that, when you are honestly doing what you have to do, not what you want to do as I said, for your own selfish reasons, but what you truly have to do. And really, honestly, if you're a homemaker that is listening to this, by homemaker, that woman is a homemaker too, but by homemaker, you are able to be at home full time. Please don't look down on these women that are out there doing what they have to do. You don't know the situation. You don't know their circumstance that caused them to be doing what they have to be doing for their household. It's not up to us to judge that. Only they can know their heart. Only they can know their mindset to know, I'm doing this because I have to do this for my family. I'm not doing this for making a name for myself and because, whatever, because society and feminism makes me feel like I have to. Right? They're not trying to be a girl boss go getter just because it feels good and it looks good. They're doing what they have to do as a Proverbs 31 working woman. They are still respecting their husbands. They're still doing all that they can with the time that they have. Let's not judge these women. Let's pray for them. Let's encourage them. Let's cheer them on. And as I just said, if anything, pray that their situation changes so that that way they can be able to be more present in their home. Okay, so that is all for this video. Thank you so much. And please, I'd love to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts? Do you feel that there's a difference between a woman that has that Proverbs 31 mindset versus a career woman with that girl boss babe mindset? And where do you feel like you lie on either side? Do you agree that this whole girl boss thing was pushed on women or sold to women without kind of giving them the fine print and giving them the other side of things? Is it really healthy for us as women? Okay, so let me know your thoughts. And yeah, thanks you again for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.